So this question of benefiting and what it means is quite a serious question. Because usually when we think, oh, what does it mean to benefit? Then it's like we translate that into, how can I change somebody? Yeah, how can I change them? And so it becomes focused on changing the other person without realizing that benefiting isn't just a matter of knowledge or technique. It's also a matter of who we are as a human being and what we convey to others through our way of approaching situations and our way of handling things and our capacity to hold things. Okay, so benefiting someone isn't just changing them and fixing them. Okay, it has to do with changing ourselves so that we have something to offer that can be helpful to somebody. So it's both things. It's, offering to sentient beings, but if we don't change ourselves, it's the blind leading the blind. Okay? So we have to, it's benefiting others isn't, I know everything and I'm bequeathing it on you, you very fortunate person who I'm benefiting. Don't forget. But it's really changing ourselves so that how we just feel and relate about people, then, what we say and do becomes beneficial. Okay? So it's two things combined: changing self, wanting to benefit others. Okay. Now, what does it mean to benefit others? Because that's, what this whole text is about. We want to benefit others. So, like I said, very often our idea of benefiting somebody is to change them so that they will become what we think they should be, and so that they will think and feel what we think they should think and feel. Okay, and so we think benefiting means giving advice. Okay, now have you ever been in a certain mood or a certain place in your life where people have given you advice when you didn't want advice? Yeah, what did you want at that time? Just to be heard, just to be understood. Yeah, you don't want anybody else commenting and telling you, you shouldn't feel that way. Like you reassure them and, oh, you shouldn't feel that way, and that's not realistic, and you don't think like that, and then you tell them how they should think. Yeah. So sometimes, I think very often actually, people just want to be heard. Yeah. And if they want advice, yeah, then they will ask for it. Sometimes they even ask for advice, but really what they need is encouragement to figure things out on their own. Okay, they often say, well, what do I do? And then you you tell them, and they say, yes, but, remember the yes, but people? So what those people, what really will benefit them is encouragement to figure it out themselves. What do you think? You're in your own shoes. What do you think will benefit you? What do you think is a good way to regard this situation? Instead of playing Miss Fix-It or Mr. Fix-It. Mm-hmm. So this is something to think about. When you're a mentor to somebody, like in the Abbey, we have mentors. The mentor isn't the one who tells you what to do or gives you advice. Yeah, their first thing is to listen to you and to understand you. And if you need advice, then you ask for it. Okay? So it's not like I'm mentoring somebody. We sit down and then I say, well, I've noticed that you've been rather moody, and here you should practice this and do that, and don't do this and don't do that. Okay? Somebody who's moody, that's, they want some understanding first. Then maybe they're open to some thought training and, things like that. But if you start out with the advice, you're losing them, because what's happening is they feel, nobody understands me. They're telling me what I'm feeling is wrong. But my feeling is my feeling. And of course, your feeling, your way of looking at things, it may be totally off the wall and crazy. But at that moment, unless somebody understands you and you feel understood, your mind is closed. Yeah. So I'm not saying that's good. Having a closed mind is not very good. But if you're trying to mentor somebody, you have to realize that sometimes their mind may not be open to all your pearls of wisdom. Okay? That they just want to be heard. Okay. So that's one part of it. Yeah. Now, then another part is, the whole thing about helping. Yeah. And people want to help. When guests come here, they want to help. When little kids are around, they want to help. If anybody's ever noticed, little kids love helping. They feel grown up when they help. And I remember when I wrote to Ryder and Naomi asking for pictures to put in the book, A Compassionate Kitchen, they took some pictures of their two little kids. Cora was maybe 3 at the time, and Sage was, I don't know, most 5, 6. And Naomi was working in the kitchen, and there they are, kind of trying to cut things and move things from here and there and set the table. And, when you're a little kid, it's like, you set the table and everybody has 3 spoons and the napkin has fallen onto the ground and you pick it up and put it there. And, it just, they're little kids. They don't know what they're doing, but they want to help. So if as a parent, there's 2 things. You either correct them, don't put the napkin there, put it here. No, we don't need 3 spoons. Look, put out 2 spoons. And you're constantly correcting the child. The child is going to feel like, oh, I'm completely inept. And helping is a setup for me failing. Because every time I try and help, I get criticized. I can't do it right. So I just won't help. I won't volunteer to help. Yeah, and then they grow up to be adults who don't like to help and who really resent when somebody asks them to help. Because in their mind, it's a setup to be criticized. Whoever asked you to help or whoever we want to help is just going to trash you. Okay? So this is something, if you're working, last time we talked about being in the kitchen, and how disturbing it is when you cut the carrots one way one day, and then somebody else is the head cook the next day, and you start to cut the carrots the same way, and they say, no, don't cut the carrots that way, cut them this way. Okay, so here you are trying to help, yeah, but you think there's one way to cut the carrots. Yeah, because when you cut, the carrots when you cook, the carrots can only be cut one way. Yeah. So somebody starts to cut them this way, and you walk over and you say, "What are you doing? Cut the carrots this way into stripes, not this way into cylinders." And, this happens enough, like 1 or 2 times, and you stop wanting to help in the kitchen because, again, it's a setup for somebody to be unhappy with what you're doing, even though you're doing your best. And even though, believe it or not, there isn't one right way to cut the carrots. And the lunch will probably turn out just as good if the carrots are cut the other way. Okay? So, when you're asking somebody to help, either give them the instructions before they start to help about how you want the carrots cut, or let them cut the carrots any old way, and you just cook and it'll be fine. Yeah, that encouraging somebody else and letting them know that you appreciate their help is much more important in the long term than having the carrots cut the way you want. Okay. Yeah, we're communicating. So then there's another element, is sometimes we don't want to let other people help. Yeah, we can be the parent who doesn't want to deal with the kids putting out 5 forks and the napkins falling on the floor. And they pick their it up and wipe their hands and put it on the table, and the parents just don't want to deal with having to go and redo everything. So they tell the kids, "Oh, don't bother, I'll do it." Yeah, because the parent is thinking, if I let them help, it's just more time and energy for me. And I'm exhausted as it is, and I just want to get the job done, so it's easier to do it myself, because these people just don't know how to do it, and I'll have to fix it afterwards. Okay? So if you're a parent and you act like that towards your kids are not going to want to help. Okay? Because they've been told, they can see in your face that before they've even started, you think they're going to fail, and that they're just going to be, "Oh God, I have to do it all over again. Why did I let somebody do this?" Okay? So then the kids grow up not wanting to help. Yeah? And then they come here and somebody asks them to help, and it's like, "Who are you asking me to help? I don't want to help." So, again, if you are, how the Abbey has its teams and you're a team leader, or at work, if you have a regular job and you are the manager, look at your own mind that doesn't want to give other people a chance, and your own mind that demands perfection and doesn't really want to go slowly and teach somebody how to do something, and doesn't want to let people figure out their own way to do it. Yeah. Because, again, believe it or not, somebody new to the job may have some better ideas about how to make the job more efficient than you do, even though you're the senior, you're the boss, you're the manager, whatever you are. Okay? And so it's very important that we don't just think, "Oh, I'm the only one who can do this." Yeah, because it shuts people out, And people, they want to help. They want to feel like they can contribute. Yeah, they want to feel that their energy is valued. And that starts when you're a little kid. You want to help. Yeah. And as an adult, people come here, they want to help. But if we immediately, our thought is, oh, I got to get lunch out at a certain time, so I don't want them around because they just distract me and they don't get the carrots right, and I have to go back and cut them, and then they cook the carrots, and they either burn the carrots or they don't cook them enough, and I'm in a hurry. I got to get this all done. Yeah, that that can again really make people feel like they don't belong. When you're allowed to help and you're given a task that you can help with, then you feel like you belong. Yeah. And when you feel like you belong in a place, then you automatically want to help. Yeah. Because you know that what you can do makes a difference, a positive difference in the lives of other living beings. Okay. So then what are you supposed to do if you're cooking and you have to stop and, because you forgot to tell them how to cut the carrots at the beginning. Now you have to go back and do it again. And now you have to go and tell them how long to cook it. And, it's just a pain in the neck for you. And lunch is late and everybody's sitting there going, So what do? Well, you think ahead before you start cooking. Oh, what a new idea. I knew there's going to be some different people helping me today in the kitchen, or helping me to, there's people that are going to help me in the office, or there are people who are going to help me out in the forest, or there's people who are going to help me, whatever it is. Think ahead and, and train the people, let them know how the task is done, and before they start, so you don't have to correct them. And then if they don't do it the way you want, but it turns out good anyway, open your mind, because maybe they know something you don't. Okay? But it's good to approach things like that rather than, oh, it's such a pain in the neck training somebody. Yeah. But really, because that's how you pass things down, isn't it? One generation trains the next generation. If you don't train the kids properly, then you get a bunch of brats. So, yeah. Yeah, so really these are just some simple examples that I'm giving, okay? And you can identify with them. But, think in other aspects too. Yeah. How does it really mean to help somebody and to train them? Yeah. When do they need you to actually sit down and hands-on explain it? When do they need you to just orally explain it? When do they need to just let you free and do what you want? Okay. So, don't always see yourself as the junior and gee, these seniors, they didn't listen to that. I hope that, which, by the way, we should take this little talk and make it into a BBC and put it on. But it's like, I'm going to refer the seniors to go listen to this again. My boss has to listen to this talk, Don't see it that way, because all of us are at both ends. There are different things where we're the one who has to learn from somebody else how to do it, and different tasks where we're the one encouraging somebody to do it. And I remember Venerable Wu-Yin very clearly when, back in 1996, when she was teaching at Life as a Western Buddhist Nun. And she said, whoever has responsibility for that project, whether they're a junior or a senior, you follow their directions. Okay? So if a junior is managing a project, as a senior, you don't go in, and say, hey, cut it out. And as a junior also, when a senior's managing, you don't go in and say, what is it? Hey, boomer, or move over, boomer, or whatever it is, What? Okay, boomer, whatever it is, it means get out of here. So when you're the person in the follower role, be a good follower. Don't complain all the time. Yeah. We had a skit one time a few years ago because, people wearing the Anagarika clothes. It's different wearing Anagarika clothes. And the skit was so great. It wasn't just about Anagarika clothes, but it was about all these kinds of things. And one person coming up, I think you were in the skit, it's like, oh, it's too hot out and this has long sleeves. I want to wear short sleeves. And then somebody else saying, it has long sleeves, but I'm cold. I want to wear a jacket on top, but you're telling me to put my jacket underneath. And it had all the juniors coming and complaining. Yeah, which happens. Everybody wants to change it. And there's some things when you're training to be a monastic where this is the way something is done because we're a community and we have to act together and do things as a group. Okay, so for example, we all try and hold our hands, put your palms together, tuck your thumbs in, and hold them straight up. Okay, now you may be used to holding your hands in front like this. Yeah, and saying, I take refuge in the Buddha, But at this abbey, everybody's holding it like this. Yeah, and it is a little bit uncomfortable. It's much more comfortable go like this. Yeah, to do like this and so you get it like that, but then your palms are still separated. Yeah. And so when I was training in Taiwan, they would walk past you and it was like, put your palms together. And they were always correcting my collar. And you can see to this day that it needs correction. Okay, but there's certain things when you're training that we want to look a certain way, walk a certain way. When we're doing the Namo Amitofo chanting and the serpentine walking, you look at the leader, okay, and hopefully you have a leader who's in step, and you pace yourself the way the leader does, okay? So that when the leader's putting their right foot forward, you're putting your right foot forward. And they put their left foot forward, you put your left foot forward. Okay? So it's the leader is walking in time with the beat. So as soon as you get in the beat, then it's okay. If you go downstairs or upstairs or make a transition from one room to the other, it's good just to check and make sure you're in step, okay? But most of the time, it's just we walk our own speed. Yeah. Or another thing, I won't say who, the leader has very big strides, and everybody else can't keep up with them. Yeah. Has anybody experienced that? And so you're kind of taking all sorts of little steps to keep up with them and still trying to hold to the beat, you know. So, you know, everybody needs to adjust in one way or another, okay?